and welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. We do thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, we are live on Synergy from 7 to 8 p.m. nightly for the last 7 to 8 years. Also, there's a rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Remember that, viewers. So as we start our program tonight, Woodland and Wassa, even as thousands of gallons of water gushed into the woodland plains from a broken main, residents of nearby San Francisco community protested yesterday over a month-long water problem. While the Water and Sewerage Authority, WASA, continues to lay a 10-inch distribution main to improve supplies nearby, the residents say they have been suffering with some resorting to the river for water to clean and wash. Residents of Salt Mine Terrance, Sukaran Trees, Tenant Trees, Ramcharan Trees, and Timotal Road gathered at Pluck Road, San Francisco to protest. Mohammed of Ramcharan Trees said, some parts of Woodland receive water, but those at the end of thick booster network, including residents of Salt Mine Trees, Sukaran Trees, and Antilles Trees, continue to suffer. He said, discussions with the Regulated Industry Commission, RIC, suggested a truck-borne water supply should arrive within 3 to 5 days, but that is not the reality. Another resident said, businesses and schools are affected. She also raised concerns about elderly and special needy residents. Viewers, listen to this.
Our preschool has to close in Woodland. Our vendors cannot sell. We have no taxi service. And those who do manage to pass here, they have increased their fare. So where is the...
So viewers, Superior Mayor Jodnat Mehur said, he raised the issue with WASA and said the Borough Corporation does not have the authority or resource to distribute truck-borne water to WASA customers with connection. So Trinidad and Tobago, how come the corporation do not have the resources to distribute water, truck-borne water, to residents who are actually paying WASA bills? Now, meanwhile, WASA is telling citizens to take a 5-minute shower. Trinidad and Tobago, I have no idea what WASA has come up with, I just want to know who does give WASA these kind of idea, Really. I just want to know if you are an illiterate person. 5 minutes in the shower? 5 minutes? How much wetting you getting for 5 minutes in your own shower, where you pay WASA every 3 months for water? Every 3 months you had to pay WASA for water, and WASA telling you now to take a shower for 5 minutes. So while that is going on, Trinity Golf Course getting watered early in the morning. Trinidad and Tobago. That was this morning. That was this morning. One would ask, Saeed, so why is they showing sprinklers in Trinity Golf Course? Why are you doing that? Is Trinity Golf Course paying a water rate? No, Trinity Golf Course is not paying a water rate. I, Saeed, am paying a water rate. And WASA is telling me to take a shower for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And look at water. Look at water. They water in a golf course. Imagine that, A golf course. And I, who paying for water, I cannot power wash. I had to take a bucket and take water from upstairs to downstairs. I had to bathe for 5 minutes. I cannot wash down my car with my hose. I had to get a bucket. But at the end of every 3 months, I have to pay WASA a certain amount. And if I don't pay that certain amount, they're coming to cut my little water I have. That I get in one time for the week. Is that fair? Now when I stand up here now on my platform on television live to educate you, oh Saieed, you're bashing. So I want to ask you now, those who say I am bashing. You pay for water every 3 months, correct? Good. You buy some tanks, you fill up your water. When your tanks run low and you get no water and still have to pay WASA at the end of every 3 months, who are you complaining to? Who are you complaining to? You want to go through all the avenue now to make your voice heard that you ain't have no water. What do you think I'm doing here? I highlighting issues for yourself also. But oh, you're bashing and you're bashing and you're bashing. I'm bashing them to make sure you have water. Whether you're UNC, whether you're PNM, you need water. Yes? If you don't need pipe-borne water, go by the river and boil water and drink. It's simple. It's simple. I paying for water, so I need water in my tap. But nevertheless, election coming up just now. Moving along. The move by the UK government, which requires all TNT nationals to acquire a visa before entering the country, has been described as bizarre by economist Dr. Arju. Several business chambers have also expressed concerns that the decision could negatively impact the relations with the country's largest business group, urging the Trinidad and Tobago and the UK government to work together to ensure minimal disruption. You know what make it hard for us? You know what make it hard for us? Criminals leaving Trinidad and going down to a visa-free entry country and seeking asylum. In the United States, Trump do not want migrants. He is setting a standard. I want no migrant, and that is it. The UK have also stepped up to make sure that their people are safe from criminals coming into their country. No visa means no visa. And when they say you have to get a visa to enter, no, you have to get a visa to enter. Because when they did their research, you think they would just pop up just so and do it? No, they will do their research. And it's criminals from Trinidad leaving to go England. You're going to visit, but when you come through the system now, you know, I come to seek asylum. From what? Somebody wants to kill me in Trinidad. I'm running from Birkenhead jail. I'm running from the police. Who does that? Criminals. Someone who holding the title of a bandit. Yeah. So I am not going to blame the government of England for stepping up to make sure criminals don't enter their country, because we have about 900 people leave Trinidad to go England to seek asylum. How much of those are criminals? Well, do a follow up on it and you would see. Arjun said that TT is not a refuge producing country. So it is bizarre that there was so much of an influx of nationals seeking asylum leading this new visa requirement talks. However, he said, While the requirement might lower the number of Trinidad and Tobago nationals visiting the UK as tourists, it should not hamper the ability of nationals acquiring other visas, like the student visa or the global business mobility visa, as those have particular requirements to be met that are not likely to change. Listen to this.
While it might lower the number of TNT nationals visiting the UK for tourist purposes now that they would need a visa, it should not hamper the ability of nationals requiring other visas like the student visa or the global business mobility visas, etc. Because those visas have particular requirements to be met that are not likely to change.
So Trinidad and Tobago, just a little update. Strickland farmers have been complaining. Strickland? Woodland? Strickland and Freeport. My mistake. Strickland and Freeport, no water. No water. For 2 weeks, farmers are crying out. So WASA, please visit the Freeport area, Strickland area in Freeport, and find out what is taking place with the WASA. And let the people have water. How hard is it? Let me tell you something. Since I could remember myself, we complaining about water in Trinidad and Tobago. Since I could remember. And every government come, every government go, they're always saying, next year going to be better, next year going to be better, next year going to be better. Today we still have the same 2 dam services in Trinidad and Tobago. Billions of dollars are spent, and we still have the 2 dams. So let me give a little common sense. If you have 2 tanks in a household with 5 people, right? And every 5 days, your tank running empty. And on the 6th day, these 5 people suffer for water. What you going to do? And you're going to buy 2 tanks again to last you 10 days? And you're going to buy 2 tanks again to last you 10 days instead of 5 days? It's the same bloody hell thing with the dam. We have 2 dams, and it cannot afford to supply the people in Trinidad and Tobago. Dig 2 dams again. That is all. I don't know, we have some people who live in WASA with some cow brain. Cow brain. That's what they have. So now Trinidad and Tobago. Arjun noted the discussion could hamper the ability to those who have to travel on short notice. Let me tell you something. When you want to go to the US, there are requirements to get your visa. You have your requirements, go get your visa. It's the same thing with England. Who caused that? We Trinidadians caused that on ourselves. We Trinidadians. So if the government across there decide, you know what? All the Trinidadians need a visa to come in because too much of criminal coming for asylum. Whom should they implement visa to enter? Who are you blaming for that? You can't blame nobody. You cannot blame nobody. We have our neighboring country coming into Trinidad and Tobago. Anything stopping it? No. No. So who could say what they want? The people defending the country. And that is just it. Meanwhile, coordinator of the Confederation of Regional Business Chamber, Jai Liladhar Singh, stated that the cost for those visas are very high and will impact the ease of doing business and on ordinary citizens. Listen to this.
Ranging from 1,200 TT for 6 months to over 9,000 TT dollars for 10-year visa. This is definitely going to impact on the cost of not just doing business, but also a very, very telling effect on ordinary citizens.
Columbia Business Chamber President Saieed Ali also agreed the implementation of a visa to the UK will definitely increase the cost of doing business and will negatively impact trade. You know, everybody talking about England now and everybody forget Trump, who want to sanction Venezuela, which could hamper us in Trinidad. Don't forget that. Don't forget it. It's not a back burner, it's on the front burner. It's hot. It's hot. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. But stay tuned. There's lots more.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Realtalk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
At Realtalk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, viewers, Realtalk Financing. You're looking for cash borrow, it's not a problem. As long as you have some form of security, house, land, gold, vehicle, you will be able to do business with us. Also remember, we love to lend. You love to borrow, I love to lend. Realtalk Financing, want to put a smile on your face. Remember that. Also, viewers, Realtalk Financing, there's a 5% on fixed deposit. Interest up front. We are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is giving you your interest up front. Viewers, you don't have to wonder if you will be alive to enjoy the interest. You don't have to worry if you get into an accident, if you could be able live to get the interest. My friends, my fellow viewers, Trinidad and Tobago citizens, all you have to do is call our office, viewers. Call our office, set up an appointment, come down, 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shogunas, or 25 Cipero Street in San Fernando, set up a fixed deposit and collect your interest up front. And enjoy it. Enjoy it. You don't have to wait 5, 10 years down the road. No, you don't have to do that. Enjoy your interest. You don't have to wonder if you go die and I have 5 years again, or 2 years to wait again. No, you don't have to wonder about all of that. Contact our office, Central and South. Come in, set up everything, open the fixed deposit and enjoy your interest up front. Trinidad and Tobago, that would be the best investment you make. Trust me. So, moving along now. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar is now advising Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley that the way in which he is attempting to appoint his successor, Stuart Young, is outside of the supreme laws and the Constitution. She stated that Rowley has two options. One being dissolve the parliament and call the election within 3 months and let the president appoint Young as desired. Or, where there is no undisputed leader, the president can then consult with the PNM ministers and make an appointment. Listen to this.
Supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago. Dissolve Parliament, Rowley. You cannot get your anointed Gary Sobers, young one, in that office, and I'll tell you why very quick.
So Trinidad and Tobago, there's only 2 ways he could do it, you know. There's only 2 ways. Dissolve Parliament and call the election, or if there's no Prime Minister, the President will appoint one. 2 ways. So sometimes I had to just listen. I had to just listen to the Prime Minister. That is all I had to do. I had to just listen to the Prime Minister. Now viewers, Kamala stated that if Rowley, however, goes ahead with his plan to resign on March 16th as the Prime Minister, but maintain his position as the PNM political leader, she said he would have to face the brilliant UNC lawyers in court, as that would be a breach of the Constitution. Mr. Kamala.
Should you proceed in this manner, recklessly, Rowley, you, Stuart Young, and the President will face the brilliant UNC lawyers in the courthouse of Trinidad and Tobago.
So all the PNM people who cheering for Stuart Young, there's only 2 ways it could happen. There's only 2 ways. I just listen and listen and listen to all you. But the law is the law. And breach of law have consequences. She said the coronation of Young could be announced anytime, but she warned against his appointment as Prime Minister. The Prime Minister could announce Stuart Young will be the next Prime Minister of the party. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing is wrong with that. Nothing. But on the 16th of March, when the Prime Minister actually resigned and stepped down, who is leading the PNM? Who is leading the PNM? Because we have no Prime Minister. None. I didn't think about that, and when you're acting, can you make a decision? Can you sign off on anything acting as a Prime Minister? Is the party in problems? We don't know. And we don't know why Dr. Rowley is stepping down before time. We don't know. There's an old saying, there's something in the mortar beside the pestle, but we're going to wait to see what is in the mortar. Yeah, we're going to wait. The PNM is now considering or concerned about any possible legal challenges that may come from the UNC with respect to the transfer of the PNM of the Prime Ministership from Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali to Stuart Young. Young stated that the PNM government knows what they are doing. This means that Young will be the Prime Minister, but Dr. Saieed Ali will continue to be the leader of the PNM until an election is called. I'll listen to this.
Again, I can't speak for the UNC, nor for the who's the next party. Well, that is not for me to expect. I mean, we know what we're doing, and I am not going to speculate. That is just certainly not how I am. So we will go along with the course. We will always, one thing I'll say about us, we will always follow the law. Thank you all very much.
What do you have to say about person that say there are now two heads? There's one who's going to be the Prime Minister governing the country, and the next person that's going to be governing the party, which we've never seen before, not even regionally.
You've never seen that?
We've never seen
Just look at Tobago. You will see that the leader of the PNM in the Tobago is deputy political leader and the leader of the council, right? Ansel Dennis, and then you have the minority leader in Parliament, in the THA, as being Kelvin Morris. That's just a quick example.
But regionally, right, across the Caribbean, we've seen prime ministers demit office before their term ends. We see P.J. Patterson, we see Bruce Golding, for example, in Jamaica. But we've not seen a prime minister demit office and remain the leader of the party. Do you think there's going to be an issue of
the PNM has always been the trendsetter in terms of politics, both in Trinidad and Tobago and in the region. So that whilst you may not have seen it before, we are certain that what we are doing is very workable, and therefore we continue to set the trend.
Now, I know Dr. Rowley and Stuart Young are two brilliant men. Two brilliant individuals. But I will tell you something. We are talking about a party that is governing the country. We are not talking about deputy. There's a difference. There is a difference between the Deputy Commissioner of Police and the Commissioner of Police. There's a difference. So now I want Stuart Young to understand something. When Dr. Rowley steps down or resigns as the Prime Minister, which means the PNM administration or the country has no Prime Minister. I want you to understand that carefully. No Prime Minister. No Prime Minister means you're not leading Trinidad and Tobago. Good? All right. If Stuart Young, the Prime Minister cannot appoint Stuart Young as a Prime Minister, you know. You can't. A general election needs to be called. A general election needs to be called. Why is Keith Rowley resigning before a general election is called? Why? Why? Why is the Prime Minister stepping back before the general election is called? Why is he resigning? What is in the mortar beside the pestle? Young stated that the government knows what they are doing. Really? Prime Minister said we are not shutting down Petro Train. What happened? We are not shutting down the refinery. What happened? Stuart Young, tell us. I'm not against you going for Prime Minister. No, I am not against that. but it's in the manner on which it is taking place. Dr. Rowley is resigning as the Prime Minister, but he will still be the leader of the PNM. How come? How come? If, this carefully here, if the Commissioner of Police, Ola Haywood Christopher, who is on suspension right now with a matter in court, if she resigns as Commissioner of Police, how can she lead the police force? I'm asking a question. For those who have sense and those who have common sense. How come? Why is Dr. Keith Rowley resigning before time? How come? Why? Could somebody on the PNM administration say why? It's just a few months for election again. A few months for election. Why is the Prime Minister docking this months before time? We in March. April, May, June, July, August. Let's just say. Dr. Rowley, you can't hold on for another 4 months, 5 months. And then, after, you know what? I'm resigning. But you're leaving the country like this. You are not the Prime Minister, but yet you will lead the PNM administration. How is this possible? If the Commissioner of Police resigns as Commissioner, how can she lead the police force? Call her good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead.
So still, man. I just feel good to know that you have a man in this country that could educate the people of this country, you know. I have no big set of education, and I know when I hear he say that they appoint Mr. Stuart Young to be the prime, I knew that couldn't happen. And I don't have no big set of education. I knew that couldn't happen. That is one thing. But the second thing is, why it is in this country when we paying a bill for water, and it still have wassermen going on the main road and on the bus route and on the highway with a spanner that's locking off a whole village from water.
Correct.
Who given we a reimbursement for that time that we didn't have water that them locking it off for?
Correct.
Mr. Saieed Ali, the people of this country being robbed with their eyes closed. And nobody stand up. You know why? Because everybody frightened to do anything. And the leaders of today that's supposed to stand up against these things is not standing up. I am surprised to hear the leader of the UNC state why did he couldn't put Mr. Stuart Young as Prime Minister. Why? This Prime Minister of this country, isn't he a public figure?
Correct.
And if he is a public figure, then you need to tell the people of this country why it is you're resigning. You need to let we know, the people that put you there, what is the reason for resigning. You're a public figure. You don't have nothing in private. Let me get that straight one time. I don't know if Mr. Saeed asking a question. I just asking a question.
Tell me.
I don't know. But Prime Minister, is it because of one of your intel? I don't know. I just asking a little question, right? You have a nice night, Mr. Saeed. Great show.
Thank you, my friend. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, Young also questioned on when his swearing in will take place, but he said, stand by and you will see things unfold. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
So as we've said, every step of the way, stand by and you'll see things unfold.
Why so much tight-lipped about things? The population is very anxious by election days, which you are now keeping in your pocket. But tell us, what about your transition?
The pocket hasn't changed as yet. So let us wait and we see, as you all have been following, as it unfolds at every step of the way. No hiccups on our part. So we'll wait and see. Let's get to Sunday. Let's get to the 16th. political leader and Prime Minister will tell us on the 16th, and then we see what happens thereafter.
Trinidad and Tobago. Let's wait and see. On the 16th of March, what will take place in our country? What will take place? What legal challenges that the UNC is going to throw out at the PNM? But like I said, how can a man resign as the Prime Minister and still want to lead the PNM? When they have no leader as the minister? Are they rewriting legislations? Ask yourself that. Are they rewriting legislations? And a few days before Prime Minister decides, you know what? This is next week will be my last day. They're going to bring the legislation to Parliament and pass it with a little majority. We don't know. But we're going to wait. Let's see what the UNC administration is going to challenge the PNM administration with. But one thing I know is that if the Commissioner of Police resigns as the Commissioner, how can she still lead the police service? Common sense. Call a good night.
Night. I'm calling in reference to the start of the program where you spoke about WASA.
Go ahead.
My problem is that we pay the bill, yes, but it's how much we paying because last year when they had rotational days in my area where we had no water for 5 days and we had water for 2 days. When the bill came at the end of the 3 months, the bill was the same. So I can't understand. We have no water for basically half of the month and then we paying the same bill as if we had water for the whole 3 months.
I understand what you're saying.
And then another thing is, it have people that have illegal connection.
Correct.
Right? So I made a report about it. They pass and they look around. In recent time, they passed asking me if I have a bill for where I think. So I have my bill and I paid my rate, but they never went by none of the houses that have illegal connections to ask them if they have bills.
Oh. I understand what you're saying.
WASA is, I don't know what to say, a total rip-off in this country.
My friend, they are getting robbed with their eye open.
Yes, that is exactly what.
Thank you so much for highlighting it. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. It's that time. When we come back, Barbados PM stands against Cuban doctors and nurses. Oh, stand by Cuban doctors and nurses. My mistake, I do apologize. After this.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley have spoken out strongly in support of the medical aid provided by Cuban doctors and nurses during the COVID-19 pandemic in response to a U.S. threat to revoke visas of officials who support alleged labor exploitation by participating in Cuban overseas medical mission. In a statement in Parliament, Mottley said, if that means her U.S. visa will be revoked, then so be it. She said,
This matter?
She said, Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but said, she will be the first to go to the line and say that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and Cuban doctors. She added that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is to lose my visa to the US, then so be it. Listen to this.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it.
Now, viewers, Mottley also noted that she looks forward to standing with CARICOM to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us. Listen to this.
Now, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
So now, viewers, while Mayor Motley is saying that and standing by the Cubans, listen to what Gonzalez have to say.
The Secretary of State of the United States of America has issued a statement that countries which are complicit, in his words, with trafficking in persons and exploiting Cuban professionals, the doctors and engineers who come, that those who are complicit would lose their passport, they lose their visas and their families. Now, I know we're not involved in any exploitation of Cuban workers. And I know that the Cubans are not involved either, the Cuban government. I know the arrangements. And I believe that the Secretary of State is a good and decent man. I would not say anything bad about him. I don't say things, it is not in my nature to say bad things about people unless I have the evidence. And I have no evidence. And he appears to me to be a good man. And if he knows the facts, I'm sure that he will understand that we are not involved in that.
Trinidad and Tobago, he is standing with the Cubans. With the Cubans. So that is 2 ministers in the Caribbean thus far that is standing with the Cubans and is against the Cuban medical. We have a phone? Caller, good night. Hello?
Compared to the person we have in this country leading, he should resign a long time ago. Anyway, I want WASA and the utilities minister to tell Tangalu, the president of this country, to pay it for 5 minutes and don't waste the water, because she is paid for nothing in this country. She pays for nothing in this country, and she's going to get the same salary she's receiving today when she retires for the rest of her life. Anyway, Mr. Said, I want to give advice to the lady who called on your program a little while ago and said she report persons who made illegal connection. Lady, please, lady, retract that statement. Don't say them thing again. They go send somebody to kill you. This country is corrupted to the bone, to the core, lady. You know it's bubbling water with water distribution and so on. How trucks going to make money if they don't lock water and so on, lady? So you hush your mouth. Don't tell nobody that, please. And you had a gentleman call prior to that lady. He talked about the government and what they're doing. I think, Mr. Man, I want you to know, this government is so corrupted. That is part of the DNA of politics in this country. That they're taking nothing from Saeed, Mr. Saeed, who is the only person standing up for what is right in this country and trying to make this country a better place. You know, they destroy this country so badly. So that is what they do. That's why Rowley running, he destroyed everything in this country. He destroyed lives, he destroyed refinery, he destroyed everything, You think he could face the citizens of this country? Maybe some of his supporters he could face. And many of his supporters don't want to hear about it or see it. Anyway, Mr. Said, and to the citizens of this country, I want you to know, Mr. Said, today people has called me, So today, a fella called me. He said, I want you to highlight this on Said's program, which I'm going to do. You're a great soul. That's what he told me. He said, Mr. Said, you're a great soul. He invested some money in your credit union. He got the interest. Last year, around Christmas time, he invested money, he got the interest, and he went on a vacation. He and his wife went on a vacation over the carnival. And he said to tell you, they went Puerto Rico, and they enjoyed themselves. He had enough money for he and his wife and spending money. So, Mr. Said, as he said, you're a great soul. God bless you. You continue to make this country a better place, Mr. Said. God bless you and your staff.
Thank you, my friend. And thanks for the wonderful report. Yeah, the feedback. It is great. Trinidad and Tobago, we are the only financial institution in this country that is offering fixed deposit with your interest up front. Remember that. So we stayed on the Cuban doctors. The Cuban Medical Corporation with Trinidad and Tobago began on July 23, 2003 with the arrival of the first group of doctors and nurses through the Compensated Technical Assistance Program. The professionals work mainly in Port of Spain General Hospital, San Fernando General Hospital, Grande General Hospital, Point Fortin General Hospital, Eric William Medical Complex, and Scarborough Hospital. In addition, they worked in 95 healthcare centers throughout the country. A recent extension was signed in November 2024, emphasizing continued collaboration in healthcare, including the presence of Cuban healthcare professionals. No work for TT doctors. So viewers, we're going on the both sides, reporting from the both sides and not being biased. In 2016, there was a tremendous shortage of staff, especially skilled medical staff, including doctors, both doctors and nurses, at the public institution. The public health institution in this country. This resulted in a ratio as high as 22 patients to 1 nurse, currently existing at the San Fernando General Hospital, as opposed to a ratio of 6 patients to 1 nurse suggested by the World Health Organization. Remember that, eh? Good. In a media briefing in 2018, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh said, there was a deliberate government policy of unemployment in local doctors and nurses in the public health sector, which is seriously compromising the health of citizens. He also cited a JSC report which noted that there are 1,840 non-national practicing as doctors in the public health institution, while there are 3,755 national doctors. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa said Trinidad and Tobago's first priority should be utilizing local healthcare professionals rather than engaging in a dispute between the United States over its crackdown on Cuban medical labor. Former Health Minister Dr. Fuad Khan also stated that the government should have to pay the Cuban embassy in US dollar to bring those doctors in. He further alluded to the fact that the Cuban doctors don't get a fixed salary, but rather a stipend. So Trinidad and Tobago, where are we and what are we to do? Where are we and what are we to do? We have been hearing doctors and nurses complaining that they cannot find employment in Trinidad, in the healthcare system, after spending thousands of dollars in nurses and doctor studies, that they cannot find a healthcare building to work in this country. How come? Is it cheaper to employ Cuban doctors and nurses and specialists rather than hiring our own? I'm asking a question. I am not going against the Cubans. Understand what I'm saying? I am not going against the Cuban doctors and nurses. But we have vacancies. The Cuban doctors and nurses could come and work alongside the doctors and nurses in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, I will fight for my people before somebody else. And if my people are lazy and we don't want to work, then I will fight for somebody else to work. Yes. Bring our neighboring countries, specialists, and work. So viewers, I'll tell you something. It's a tricky situation we are in presently. It's very tricky. I will stand with both local doctors and nurses, and I will stand with the Cuban doctors and nurses. You know why? They care about the health care of human beings. So I would warn our Minister of Health, be careful how you're treading. Be careful. So I think it's that time for me to say good night, viewers. Until we meet again, do be safe and enjoy dinner.